going? Yeah, now we're on. Okay, good morning, everybody. So today's lesson is going to be on integers. But before we dive right into the integers, I know you're kind of excited reading through this. I want to first talk about what integers is or are. Where do you use it? Sometimes there are some words that gives you a specific integer, if it's positive or negative. So we'll look at that as well. Okay. So integers. So, you can write this down. I will also have this on our blog. So just in case you're wondering if this is going to be on the blog, it will be. So integers. Integers are signed numbers, either positive or negative, and also zero. Zero is also an integer. Okay, so integers are either a positive number, a negative number, or zero, and it's a whole number. Okay, so let's take a look at some examples. Okay, I'll give you some example, and then I'll ask you if for your example. So negative 12. So that's an integer. It's a negative value, negative 12. Another possibility or another example is 25 or positive 25. That's an integer. Okay. So let's take a look at, so this is a negative. This is a positive integers. Now, when we look at this, positive or negative, I'm pretty sure you've seen a number line, right? A number line. When we first talked about numbers, when you first learned about numbers, you started talking about 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So when we first started talking about numbers, maybe when we were younger, it's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on, right? Keeps going. Now, as you go this way, what happens to the number? Does it get bigger or smaller? If you go to the right, it gets bigger. Now, if you go to the left, what would it be? It should get smaller. So, if this is the 0 and a positive integer, and to the left of it, that would be our negative integers. So this is going to be negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, negative 5. So these are the positives. This is our 0, and these are the negatives. And if you go to the left, it gets smaller. Okay. Is everybody okay so far? Just raise up your hand. Okay, but a show of hands. Who's seen something like this before? Like integers? Yeah, okay, a few people. Okay. Yes? Or are you being shy? Yeah, or yes, you're being shy, or yes, you've seen it?
I've seen it.
Oh, you've seen it. Okay. So I'm pretty sure most of us have seen it before. We are so used to integers because guess what? Our weather, the way it's expressed to us, is also an integer, right? This morning, what's the temperature? Did somebody check? What's the temperature today? Positive 18 today? Okay, well that's a nice, right? Well, what happens if it's negative 18? Yeah, minus. What? How does it feel between positive 18 and negative 18? Positive 18 is hotter, or yeah, on the hotter side, and the negative 18 is in the cold side. Okay, so it makes sense that cold, it's a lower temperature because it's negative, higher temperature when it's positive. Okay, so sometimes we're gonna look at the wording, because we're gonna look at the words that sometimes denote either a positive or a negative. Okay, so here, positive, negative. Okay, tell me. Hello, come on in. A positive would be above. A negative would be, what word would denote a negative? Below. So positive, when we say above something, then it's a positive value. And when we see the word below, it means negative.
Put on a jacket. It means put on a parka jacket. Put on a parka jacket.
Oh, put on the parka. Yeah, put on your jacket when it's below. Yeah. So we're gonna see some words like that, right? Above, below. Now, what we're gonna be, if something is gain, what would be the negative of it? Gain, maybe loss, yeah? So gain, loss. Okay. What about this? If the negative is down is a negative, the positive is up. Where else can we talk about gain? Rise, yeah. So if it's rise, rising, what would be falling? Okay. So I just want us to take a look at some of those words, because those keywords, when we get into the word problem, thank you very much for your participation, those keywords will indicate if it's a positive number or a negative number. Okay? So let's take a look at this. I'll stop there. Getting back to our booklet on page 6 of our booklet. So it says here, integers are numbers that include negative numbers as well as positive numbers. So we talked about that already. So we use negative numbers when we talk about temperatures or owing money to someone. Ooh, so owing money is a negative. For example, your calculator will give you the correct answer for problems involving integers as long as you enter the negative sign properly. Now, look at your calculator for a second, and everybody has different calculators, and I understand that. But I want us to first identify which button will be negative and which button is positive. Okay? So I have two calculators in here. Okay, so let's take a look at the left side first. You'll see the negative button. So if you want to go negative 3, you're gonna press this one, the negative. This is the negative. And then this one is the subtraction. There's a difference between negative, because the negative tells you the sign of that particular number, whereas subtraction is the operation of. Okay? If you look at this one here, this is a negative, and then there's a subtraction. So negative and subtraction. Is there anybody else that might have slightly different calculator, and maybe I can point it out to other people? Yes, thank you. Yeah. Oh, the same thing. Yes, thanks. Thank you for doing that. Now, this calculator, okay, maybe some of you have this. You don't have a specific, just a negative sign. You have a plus or minus. So, let me just go up a little bit. So if I want to type in -3, so you would go -3. Right? So this is the positive or negative. Now, I think the reason why it's plus/minus is because if you say, oh, I don't want the -3, I made a mistake, I want it to be a +3, I can just press that again, and now it turns it back to positive. Okay? So, thank you for that, for pointing that out. Is there anybody who has slightly different calculator? Okay, now you have a different calculator, you have a different calculator. Okay, now I know why, oh yeah, these two are kind of similar. So now if you type in -3, okay? Let's get used to our calculator first. This calculator, if you want to type in -3, watch. If I go negative and then 3. Hey, I pressed the negative button, but it didn't show negative. This button. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Yeah, so this is the negative in here. So I pressed, let me try that again. I press -3. And you're wondering, it's like, I press -3, then why is it showing -3? I'll try this one. It's impossible. You go negative, this is the negative for your calculator, and then you put 3, okay? Again, I press the negative, and then the 3, it didn't give me -3. So what's a problem? Okay. In these two calculators, and I don't know if anybody else have the same similar calculator, what you have to do is you have to go 3 first, and then the negative. Okay? There's nothing wrong with your calculator. It's not broken, so don't buy a new one. These are perfectly fine. This is my calculator when I went to school. So it's a good one. So just go 3 and then negative. That's just the design of your calculator. Okay? So that's that. Thank you for showing this to us. Thank you. And I don't want you to panic that your calculator is not working. Okay, so now we know how to enter the negative and the subtraction. Now let's get into the orders of operation involving integers. Okay? So it says here, enter the following expression on your calculator and check your answer. We'll go over together for sure. So how do we do this on our calculator? So go ahead, let's type it in. So you put brackets, -4. And then what's this little 3 outside? What is that called again? Exponents. So your exponent is exponent 3. Okay, do you remember how to do exponent 3? So you can go exponent, opponent. So you're going to use x to the y button or y to the x button or the kind of looks like an upside down V. That's called a caret. button. Okay? So you're gonna put brackets, -3 or 3 negative, depending on what your calculator is. Close that bracket, and then y to the x, x to the y, exponent 3. And let's see what that gives us. Did everybody get -64? Negative 64. -64. Did everybody get -64? Okay. Let's figure it out first before we move on to the next one. Okay, everybody good? Oh, yeah. Oh, okay, that's fine. Okay, yeah. Yeah. I think I'm pretty much out for now, but I think you're okay, right?
Yeah, no, I'll be fine.
For two. Okay, so I think we've touched base with everybody, right? Everybody was able to do this -4 to the third to the power of 3. Everyone's okay? Okay, let's try. And I know some people tried this one already. So let's go ahead and try that. We're just gonna try doing this all at once. Okay, so it's going to be brackets -9 plus 12 plus 15 times -1. Let's see what kind. Okay, I got a -36. So go ahead, try it on your own. See if you get a -36 on your calculator. Let's go ahead and try the next one. I got -3. Is everybody okay with -3? Yeah? Okay. Give us a call, just or raise your hand if you're not sure about that. And then letter D. I'll try that and check our answer. Okay, all of these are negative, so -250 for letter D. Okay. Now letter E is slightly different. Do you see that there's a division there? What did we say last time when you see a division? We said we work out the top, we work out the bottom, and then divide, right? So letter E is a two-stepper. So this is going to be 10 times -3. Okay, so for letter E, it's going to be -30 in the numerator, -6 in the denominator. So if you divide -30, divide by -6, you're going to get a 5 or a +5. When there's nothing in front of it, there's no negative sign, that means it's understood it's positive. Yeah. So if you just write down 5, that's perfect. How's that one going for you? It's okay? Everybody's okay? That's why it's important that we get used to our calculator. Touch base with you to see if you're how you're doing, and like I said, it's a matter of getting used to your calculator. So once you have a calculator, stick to it, right? Because if you get used to one type of calculator and then you go to a different type of calculator, sometimes buttons are different, right? And if you've seen that some buttons are different for exponents, some buttons are different for negatives. So yeah, just make sure you stick to one calculator, don't lose it, and yeah, you'll get used to it. Okay, let's take a look at example 2. Example 2. It says here, one morning, the temperature was 8 degrees. So one morning, it's 8 degrees. During the day, the temperature rose 12 degrees Celsius and then dropped 6 degrees Celsius in the evening. What was the temperature at the end of the day? Now, remember those key words that we talked about? Is it positive or negative? That's where it's happening in here. So, what did we started off with? Started off with 8 degrees, right? Started off, this is the start. And during the day, the temperature rose. Oh, what's that mean? Rose means it went higher, up, right? So when it says rose 12 degrees, is that going to be a positive or negative? Positive. So rose would be going up. Up is positive. So it's up is 12. Oop. Okay, rose 12 degrees. And then, so that's what, and if you're not sure, a lot of people, you can call Jane and I, you can talk to the people within your table, and then we'll help you out. Okay? Once everything is good in question 1, then you can go to do question 2 and 3. Okay? Is that okay? Good?